Hello everyone, this is Jar Jar is a Sith with UO Singularity, bringing you a video about properly preparing for in-game PvP battlegrounds. This guide is broken into a few sections. First, nuances in PvP, what special mechanics do we have on this server, and why do we have them. Second, gearing for PvP. What gear do I need to focus on for stepping up my impact level in PvP the most? Third, managing expectations. How difficult will this be, and what can I hope to achieve? Okay, so first let's talk about the nuances. Some mechanics here differ quite a bit from traditional UO shards, so I would like to talk about these first. The first of these is poisoning. When you inflict poisoning on another player through any means, that player will immediately receive a poison immunity timeout that begins counting down. This is to reduce situations where players are inflicting poison so frequently that they become completely incapacitated in their ability to heal, since poison blocks bandage heals and it also blocks healing spells. It's important players have breathing room after they are cured. Note also that because immunity starts when you are poisoned, you need to cure fast to gain a window where you can heal up with spells and bandages. The higher level the poison is, the shorter the immunity window will be. Also note that Greater Cure potions and Arc Cure both have a separate 15-second cooldown where they cannot be used again after being used. Also, they have 100% effectiveness against all poison levels. This mechanic is in place to reward players that quickly remove poisons from themselves and their allies. Also note that some abilities and effects can heal through poisons as well as Mortal Strike abilities. But when a person heals through these effects, they heal for 50% less. Second, Majory spam penalties. There are 3 spells in-game that have penalties for casting quickly in succession: Greater Heal, Heal, and Teleport. Greater Heal's effectiveness will reduce by 10% each time it is cast on a target unless 3 seconds have elapsed between the last cast and this cast. After the 3 seconds elapses, it goes back to the full healing value, and this debuff can stack up to 5 times for a total of 50% reduction in value. Teleport has a 5-second cooldown after use. And Regular Heal, cast within 3 seconds of another Regular Heal, will increase in mana cost by 5. Note that some classes have fast mana regen mechanics that largely negate this last effect, like Thaumaturge, Spellsinger, and Demonologist. Next, on-hit Dispel. Normally in Ultima Online, this can be used to dispel summons, but here on UO Singularity, when a player is hit by another player with an on-hit Dispel effect, it will attempt to purge their protection spell and remove their ability to recast protection for 4 seconds. After being dispelled in this manner, you will have a 60-second window where this cannot happen again. This is primarily to ensure that Dexers can open up windows of opportunity to pressure mages in combat, and it is a part of our ongoing effort to balance PvP mechanics and ensure Majory has to play reactively and use defensive cooldowns intelligently to play at a higher skill cap. Also remember that Protection Spell here is instant cast, which also allows mages greater flexibility on when to toggle this on or off. Next, Spellbooks. One really unique feature here on UO Singularity is that weapons can be infused into a spellbook, and they will retain most of their properties, including on-hit effects, with exceptions for splintering and velocity. What this means is that mages can really upgrade the power they pack in PvP by making use of some of these effects. Okay, next let's talk about gearing for PvP. Most players think that they need a lot of amazing gear for PvP to be able to compete, but this is really not the case at all here. Due to the fact that we have 96% normalization of all stats and a catch-up mechanic that boosts players and the losing team to 100% of the stat cap, the amount of advantage that you gain by being in very high quality in-game gear is minimal while in a battleground. However, there is one very important key point that players need to aim for starting out, and that is their choice of weapon. The reason for this is due to procs not being normalized in PvP. Before you get worried about this being a big barrier, you should know that there is a vendor search feature in-game that will allow you to look for weapons that can accommodate your PvP needs very quickly. And just because a weapon isn't perfect doesn't mean you can't compete. The difference between highly available starter gear and powerful in-game weapons is not as large a gap as you might think. There have been quite a few players that made solid progress in PvP so far using a very basic setup and weapon. Also know that as you PvP and do other in-game content, you'll get weekly rewards for tiered weapons that are the most powerful weapons available in-game for PvP and PvE. So knowing this, you need to now think about what weapon is good in PvP. Most players starting out should look for weapons with high lightning on hit, dispel on hit, curse on hit, hit lower defense, hit lower attack, and splintering procs on the items. If you are a Dexter oriented fighter or have pets, then hit lower defense and splintering are very important. And if you are a mage, then hit lightning and hit lower attack are very important. The reason hit lightning is important for mages is because mages need to convert in-game weapons into spellbooks by combining a spellbook with a weapon to empower that book with additional stats from the weapon. Once converted, that weapon cannot gain more lightning procs through the in-game glyph system. However, normal weapons can. Also know that, in general, hit dispel is important for fighting against mages. Okay, so the last thing to talk about is management of expectations. The most frequent issue I see in new players is that they really think that they will be able to go in, guns blazing, and be the best player on the server within a few matches. When they inevitably meet some resistance to this within their first few matches, they immediately give up and say this class is weak or that class is OP, etc. And while there may be some truth to these statements, as 100% balance is very difficult to achieve in a game like this, you also can't expect to be an amazing player without practice and perfection of mechanics as well as strategy involved. There are many ways to approach PvP battlegrounds and many things to keep in mind and build awareness of. Even the best game players in the world will likely lose matches when they start out on this journey. So while I can't really say anything to make you feel less bad about losing, I can say that you should always take the time to reflect on what you could have done better in those matches. This is the mindset that builds champions in any competitive endeavor in life. Because giving up or blaming X, Y, or Z at the first sight of any resistance will not help you grow as a player. And also, the great thing about this server is that starting a new character for a different class is pretty easy to do. So if you really feel strongly about a certain class or playstyle being overpowered, you can prove that by simply playing as that class and demonstrating just how broken it truly is. Veteran players can usually have PvP ready characters within a day or two from what I've seen so far. So there really is nothing stopping players from making the best of these situations they find themselves in. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to release another video soon and keep you guys updated on our future developments.